Welcome back to my YouTube channel. First off, I just want to say I'm sorry it took me so long to get this video out. The reason is because it's been a crazy week for me, and there's been a lot going on, and so I haven't really found the time to just sit down and get this done. But I have the time now, so let's get started. About a month or two ago, for everyone who follows my blog and my Facebook page, I asked that everyone suggest some songs for me to talk about, and I never got around to writing those blog posts. And the reason being is because I knew I was going to be starting this YouTube channel soon, and I thought to myself, why write a blog post about it when I can just do it on my YouTube channel? So I will be talking about those songs for the next following weeks. And today I've chosen 3 to talk about. Neon Gravestones by 21 Pilots, In My Blood by Shawn Mendes, and Amazing Grace by John Newman. I'm starting off with Neon Gravestones because it's a really heavy topic and I don't want to end on a heavy topic. Neon Gravestones was featured on their newest album, Trench, which was released in 2018, and it's incredibly loaded. It's hard to talk about. Genius.com, which is a lyric providing website, they have some articles on the side about the song itself. I'm going to read a little bit of that just to give you a little bit of an overview of what the song is. It says, Neon Gravestones attacks society's practice of glorifying those who have committed suicide and romanticizing the idea of taking your own life. 21 Pilots has never shied away from talking about suicide, about talking about depression and anxiety, and all of those really heavy topic things. They've never shied away from talking about those in their song, and I think that's why I respect them so much, is because it is such a hard topic to talk about, and they are able to word it and put it in lyrics so well without offending just everyone. They do a really good job of just explaining the situation and what it feels like. I think I want to say my favorite part of the song is the very end of it. In verse 3, the song says, find your grandparents or someone of age, pay some respects for the path they have paved. To life they were dedicated, now that should be celebrated. And I really like this line because at such a young age and being influenced by so much, the media, social media, our friends, just what the world has become, it's so easy to think of suicide as the perfect and easiest way out. So we leave a lot of people behind, and that ends up hurting them and making it a lot harder of a situation than you originally anticipated, and I don't think many people think of that when they decide to commit this action. Our grandparents, they've obviously been on this earth a lot longer than we have. They've gone through a lot of similar things that we've gone through, and them still being here, continuing to live life every single day, is truly a challenge, and they have conquered the challenge. And it's really easy to give up, but the thing that we need to realize is there's always help. There's always help out there. Parents, friends, peers, counselors, therapists, doctors. There's so much help out there, and I think just sometimes we forget about asking for help. We forget about just reaching out for that help. This is so hard. This is so hard to talk about because you can't ever fully understand someone's reason for wanting to take their own life. It's not always explained, and the reasons are different every time. But I guess what I'm trying to get out there is just there's always help. There's always something to be done about the situation in which you're in and what you're feeling. If you know me and you know my story, reach out to me, talk to me. I may not be able to completely help you, but I can give you some sound advice. And maybe help you get help. What's crazy to me is kids and peers out there, they don't understand what they're doing, and they end up encouraging their friends to commit this act, and as a form of mercy, you know, saying, oh, if you don't feel good in this situation, if things aren't going right and you feel like this is your only answer, I support you. Moral of this song: choose life, fight the fight. Don't put your family and friends, the people who care about you, through this, because you think you're only hurting yourself, but you're hurting everyone around you and the people who care about you. And I guess the other part of the song is the glorification of suicide, the glorification of taking your own life, which is just also a really incredibly hard topic. I mean, I guess the easiest way to explain it is suicide is glorified within social media, TV, and movies, glorified even among peers in the situation like I just mentioned, friends supporting friends who want to commit this act because they believe it's the only answer. Just straight out romanticizing the idea of suicide and thinking that it is the perfect end all to any situation when it's not. I'm gonna move on from this topic because I feel as if I've hopefully explained it enough for you to get the gist. If not, feel more than welcome to look up the song and listen to it, read the lyrics. They are absolutely incredible, and just, I fully recommend this song. Yeah, okay, we're gonna move on. In My Blood by Shawn Mendes was released in 2018. This song is incredible. I remember when I first heard this song, and I think I was in my car, and it came on the radio, and I started crying within the first verse. The lyrics are just really, really incredible, and they talk about depression and anxiety and peer pressure and just what that does to you as a person, and how under all of the stress and the anxiety you just want to give up. This song is very vulnerable and incredibly worded. This song talks about the idea that little things such as having a drink, or taking a girl or a guy home, or hanging out with friends in excess can hide the pain that you're feeling and hide the depression and hide the anxiety, kind of pull you away from your current situation and make it all better, which is never the case. All of those things are band-aids, and they never last for long. The feeling, the high, it never lasts long, and then you just end up in the same depressive situation you were in to begin with. I think my favorite part of this song is when he says, I need somebody now, can anybody help me? And this part is just really important to me because at a certain point you have two choices. You can give up or you can ask for help, and he chooses, after all of these band-aids, he chooses to ask for help. because he realizes he can't do it on his own, and if he continues to fight it on his own, he will give up. But in his blood, he knows that he can't give up, and therefore he asks for help. And I think that's so important, because I mean, we never want to have to ask for help. We always want to think that we can do everything on our own. That's hardly ever the case, and there's no shame in asking for help. That's In My Blood by Shawn Mendes. I 100% recommend listening to it. And if you know the song, I recommend listening to it again and just really soaking in the lyrics and understanding the meaning of them, because it's an incredibly important song, ending on a happy note. Amazing Grace was a Christian hymn that was published in 1779 by John Newton. John Newton is a interesting man. John wrote these lyrics through personal experience, about his own personal experience. He grew up without a religious conviction. He was a part of the Royal Navy, and then after leaving the Navy, he got involved in the Atlantic slave trade. In 1748, one of his ships was pounded on by an incredibly huge storm on the ocean. And as we all know, those can get violent. And in 1748, I'm pretty sure their boats were not that reliable as far as weather went, and didn't survive the weather very often. So he ended up calling out to God for mercy. His boat ended up surviving that storm by God's grace, but he continued to be involved in the slave trade from 1754 to 1755. In 1755, he ended with the slave trade and began studying Christian theology. He became ordained at the Church of England in 1764, and this is where he began to write his hymns. So this hymn, I guess, was written to show that no matter the sin that you have committed, there is mercy and forgiveness for everything you've ever done through God. Basically, this song is linked to his personal experiences during that initial storm on the sea. It took him a while to come to faith, and he did stay in the slave trade a very long time, but with everything he saw and the things that he did, he somehow came to God and was forgiven for every sin he had committed in that period of time. He wrote this song about the mercy that God had given him that night and for the rest of his life. Amazing Grace is a pretty incredible hymn. We still sing it in churches to this day. And yeah, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and check in every now and then for a video, because sometimes my life gets crazy and I will probably not be able to post every single week, even though I might want to.